Hey everybody, it's Thunder. I want to talk about the indigenous point of view as opposed to some kind of corporate or banking point of view regarding the sanctity of the earth, the planet, Mother Earth, Maka, Grandfather Sky, Tunkashila. You know, you don't have to give your power away to the powers to be. Don't you just love that term? The powers to be. What does that mean? Doesn't mean shit, really. What really means something is whether you have an indigenous person's, a native person's point of view regarding the planet, and whether you give your power away to other people or you keep your power. And by giving your power away to other people, you've allowed the planet to be ruined. And then comes along little organizations that try to represent ecology, like Greenpeace and other people, and think that they can correct the situation or that your money can help them correct the situation. You need to have a true indigenous person's heart to understand. And that doesn't mean you need to be a redskin or any color. It's just that they understood because they lived that way. They lived in reverence to Mother Earth, no doubt about it. People can say anything they want about the tribal people being savages and committing war on each other. You know, that's the first thing you hear as a defense against, or people that don't really like the redskin or the native people or the skins. That's the first thing they come up with when you talk about the genocide of the race, of the native race. The first thing they come up with was, well, you guys fought too. You guys fought too. You had war too. So friggin' what? What has that got to do with having reverence for the planet? Those skirmishes that went on intertribal, so what? Native people love the planet. I don't care what tribe they were in or whether they were having skirmishes with each other or not. Okay? The point being is they were all of the same mindset that without Mother Earth and Grandfather Sky, we're nothing. Doesn't matter if we fight with each other. They all had reverence for the earth, the planet, and lived in accordance with it. They didn't take the life of a deer even without asking for the spirit, asking it for its spirit. They had reverence for all things, the circle of life. The circle of life. And then I see these activists, these people on the street, had a little bit of a run-in, I guess you can tell, with some Greenpeace people today. They don't know anything. These people out on the streets, they don't have a clue. They don't come from a Native American point of view. They don't come from an indigenous point of view. They come from, give me your money and so I can put it in my boss's, the corporation's pocket point of view. And they have a spotty record if you check. Can we say investment bankers, people, and taking the money and using it for investing in hedge funds or whatever? Is that where you want your money to go? Okay, fine. But let's talk about the mentality of that as opposed to the mentality of a true indigenous, heartfelt person that knows the facts and have lived the facts. Who has better lived the facts than the native people? Who has seen the planet die and be polluted with horrific things in the name of progress, in the name of manifest destiny, in the name of the powers to be. What does that mean? Powers to be. It means you gave them all your friggin' power. That's what it means. And you didn't fight for it. Now, the indigenous people fought to keep their power. They knew what power was all about. They know about personal power. And they know that they didn't want to give that away or anything to the white man's view of power, which doesn't have anything to do with spirituality. But the indigenous person's view of power has everything to do with spirituality. And it's in their connection to Mother Earth, the sacred hoop, the sacred circle, and living in accordance with the spirit that moves in all things. And so, the normal person doesn't, gives their power away to people like the government and organizations to be the wisdom keepers and the torch bearers of the planet, and they ruin it, and they make money off you, and you slave hard, and you're an enslaved class. And the indigenous people learn the hard way what the European man's view of power was. Again, it had nothing to do with spirituality. It had everything to do with depletion of resources and ownership and thinking they own things when they don't. Who owns the planet? Who can own the planet? Can anybody own them? And if you think that they can, then that's the problem, isn't it? When you give your power away to other people to run the planet and say you are the Lord and masters of our home, our natural God-given, creator-given, great spirit-given home, you're dropping the ball. You're not, you don't have an indigenous heart. You have to have an indigenous heart. And again, that doesn't mean skin color. It means how you feel. Any great medicine man will tell you the spirit of the four directions represents all colors: black, yellow, white, red, and everything in between. And if you live from the tribal heart, you don't give your power away to other people to destroy the friggin' planet. So what you have to do if you want to talk about activism, like Greenpeace or any, nobody can tell me about activism because I've been a real activist, and I've known the real facts, and I've laid my life on the line before for that. It's not working for a corporation collecting bucks for them, okay, so that they can go and sit in their jacuzzis and hot tubs and fly the world in their Learjets, okay? That's not what it's about, people. So if you want to be a real activist, you have to act as if you have the power, not them. Even if you feel, you've given your power away so long that it's like you just automatically assume that they're the ones in power. If you assume that, then that's what they're going to be. If you take back your power and you say, I'm taking back my power as a wisdom keeper and indigenous-hearted person and caretaker of this planet, I'm taking it back, and you guys are out of a job. You've done enough with the planet and ruining the planet, and enough with your hijinks, and enough with your stupid destruction of the planet through warring means, and that kind of war is a different kind of war than the indigenous people skirmished with each other. And if you can't see the difference, then you got your head up where the sun don't shine. The native people of this planet always respect. It's not like, when hunters today go out, they go out with their high definition telescopic rifles, scoped rifles, and they shoot everything just for sport. They waste the meat. They don't use it. They put the heads of the animals on the wall, staring at them in some kind of grotesque fashion. Is that reverence? The native used all parts of that animal, from the eyeballs to the antlers to the tail to the hooves to every part of that animal that they killed, and asked for its spirit, and gave reverence to and prayed over. They used every part. They didn't waste one freaking single part of that animal. So if the light changes here, it's because it's grandfather sky and clouds and Mapia and Tunkashila doing their little thing outside the window here, which is fine by me. Take back your power, people, and if you're going to be an activist, act as if you have power. I'm telling you, the native people knew all about power. The correct kind of power, the spiritual power, which can overcome any other kind of power, because all the other kind of power is just thought up. It's not real. Okay? Spiritual power in connection with Grandmother Earth and the spirit that moves in all things in nature, that's real power. That's real power. That's not this phony power that people... And so they're just a bunch of pipsqueaks. That's all they are. A bunch of pipsqueaks, squeaking here and squeaking there and doing this and doing that. They have no reverence. They don't really have any power, like I said, other than what you give them. If you give them your power, then it's your power that they got, not their own. So you need to have that mindset. The mindset of a real warrior is power, personal power. And everybody doesn't even know what that means anymore. They're so silly, to put it bluntly, stupid. They live in this little world of fantasy. Okay? They don't live in the real world. As soon as people wake up and get the indigenous heart, and take back the power that they gave away, or realize their own power, everything would change like that in a second, in a minute, in a flash. But everybody is walking around in chains, in mental chains. It's sad, people. It's really sad. And then you see them giving their money to these people like Greenpeace. This guy, this is really funny. I'm walking down the street and here's these two people, and there's this guy with a beard, and he's got, his little hat pulled down over his head, his little boonie hat, and he's got his shorts, and he's overweight, and he's got tennis shoes, and he's spinning this clipboard that they sign people up on the end of his finger like a frisbee. First of all, would you give this man your money? And it's spinning around, and he's holding it out like this, and he's spinning it faster and faster. This thing has sharp edges and could fly off right into your friggin' face. That's point number one. Point number two is, That's who's representing the planet, the ecological balance. Is these people asking for money for their corporate coffers? What do these people get out there? Nothing. Little pittance of a percentage of whatever. They do get money, though, those people out on the corners. They don't just stand out there out of the goodness of their heart, okay? And they're basically, they don't know what they're doing. And these are the kind of, and so people walk by and have this twinge of conscience about, oh, I haven't paid attention to the planet lately, or I haven't thought about the planet, or so I'll buy my way into having a good state of mind and correcting my guilty conscience. I'll just give it to a charity and let them, and that charity goes right to the hedge funds. Okay, if that's what you want to do. Have an indigenous mindset. Don't give your money or power away to anybody. Take control of your own situation, people. Be of an indigenous person's heart. Have an indigenous person's heart. Have an earth-friendly, earth person's heart. Have that connection to Great Spirit and the sacred circle and the spirit of the four directions, Sapa, Luta, Ki, and Ogaga Ska. And Tunkashila and Maka, Mother Earth. You be well acquainted with that. You take back your power in the name of that. How's that? Walk the red road, people. Until next time, Thunder's saying adios.